Ladies and gentlemen, let's be bold and speak about what too many shy away from: the intimate connection between sexual health, confidence, and overall wellness. Our bodies are extraordinary communicators, and one of the most fascinating truths is how physical responses often reveal hidden feelings, desires, and even levels of health. When a woman is aroused, her body doesn't lie. Moisture, warmth, and physiological changes are nature's way of signaling interest, pleasure, and readiness. But beyond attraction, these changes also reveal something deeper: the state of her sexual health, hydration, hormones, and overall well being. Here are five powerful signs that reflect not only intimacy but also urological and sexual wellness. Natural lubrication appears quickly. This isn't just attraction, it's also a sign of balanced hormones, proper hydration, and good vaginal health. A lack of it may indicate stress, hormonal imbalance, or urological issues that deserve care. Increased blood flow and sensitivity. A warm flush, heightened sensation, and swelling are signals of strong circulation. This doesn't just reflect desire, but also cardiovascular and pelvic health. Subtle body language shifts, relaxed posture, lingering eye contact, or leaning closer. These unconscious actions reflect the mind-body connection that links sexual arousal to confidence and psychological wellness. Heightened breathing and pulse, faster breaths, and a racing heart aren't only about desire, they reflect how arousal activates the body's nervous system, a reminder that mental and physical health are always intertwined. Moisture and warmth as a wellness indicator. When present, it signifies balance. When absent, it's not shame, but rather a sign worth paying attention to, whether it's hormonal changes, stress, or urological concerns. Friends, here's the truth. Sexual health is general health. Urology isn't just about the bladder or kidneys. It's about the entire system that supports intimacy, confidence, and vitality. When we normalize these conversations, we empower women and men alike to embrace wellness without shame. Lubrication is one of the most natural, undeniable signals of a woman's arousal, yet so many people overlook its deeper meaning. When a woman becomes wet, it isn't simply about physical readiness, it's about her body's language, a way of revealing desire, safety, and attraction all at once. Arousal is not something that can be forced. It is a physiological response that flows when she feels both mentally and physically stimulated. This response is heavily influenced by trust, emotional connection, and her perception of the moment. A body that feels safe allows arousal to rise freely, whereas a body that feels tense or distracted may resist, even when the mind wants otherwise. Wetness then becomes a profound measure of how much her mind and body are aligned in the presence of someone she desires. From a biological standpoint, lubrication is a precise and intelligent reaction of the body. As the brain receives signals of attraction, blood flow increases in the pelvic region, activating the Bartholin's glands, which release fluid to make intimacy smoother and more pleasurable. This isn't just nature's way of preparing for penetration. It is the body's built-in system to protect vaginal tissues from friction and potential discomfort. A healthy lubrication response reflects balance in hormone levels, especially estrogen, and reveals that circulation is working efficiently in the reproductive and urological systems. When this flow of moisture happens easily, it shows that the body is in a state of harmony, responding to desire exactly as it was designed to. Yet lubrication is not only about biology, it is deeply connected to the mind. For many women, arousal begins with mental stimulation. The anticipation, the subtle touch, the flirtatious exchange, or simply the confidence of a partner who knows how to ignite her imagination. The brain, after all, is the most powerful sexual organ. When psychological arousal is high, it triggers the body to follow with physical signs, lubrication being one of the clearest. On the other hand, if the mind is distracted, stressed, or filled with anxiety, the body may withhold its response. This is why lubrication is such an accurate reflection of a woman's overall state of being in the moment. It tells you whether she feels mentally free to surrender to pleasure. It's important to recognize, however, that lack of lubrication should never be misunderstood as a lack of desire. Many factors beyond attraction influence the body's ability to produce moisture. Stress, fatigue, dehydration, certain medications, and hormonal changes, especially those linked to birth control, pregnancy, or menopause, can all reduce natural wetness. Even emotional factors such as unresolved tension in a relationship or lack of intimacy can play a role. When wetness is absent, it isn't necessarily rejection, it is a signal that the body needs attention, balance, or support. An informed partner understands this and responds with care, patience, and a willingness to adapt. Lubrication, therefore, is more than a sign of arousal. It is a vital indicator of sexual health. When present, it reflects balance, readiness, and desire. When absent, it invites deeper awareness into the body's needs. For a woman, this signal is a reminder to stay attuned to her wellness, hydration, and hormones, while for a partner, it is an opportunity to connect with empathy and understanding. By viewing lubrication as communication rather than a simple reaction, we elevate intimacy into a dialogue between body and mind, where every drop of moisture carries meaning far beyond the surface. Arousal is much more than a fleeting feeling. It is a complete physiological event, and one of its strongest markers is blood flow. When a woman is truly aroused, circulation increases dramatically in the pelvic region, creating warmth, fullness, and sensitivity that she can feel and her partner can sense. This rush of blood is the foundation of lubrication, swelling, and heightened pleasure, making intimacy not only possible but deeply enjoyable. The body responds almost instantly to desire with this surge of circulation, and the stronger the attraction or stimulation, the more pronounced the response becomes. It is nature's undeniable sign that the body is alive, responsive, and tuned into the moment. The link between arousal and circulation is rooted in the vascular system. Just as an athlete's muscles require blood flow to perform, the sexual organs depend on strong circulation to respond. When aroused, blood vessels in the genital area dilate, creating increased pressure and engorgement. This is what makes the clitoris more sensitive. The vaginal walls swell slightly, and the entire pelvic area feel more responsive to touch. Without sufficient circulation, arousal feels muted, and sexual experiences can become less satisfying. This is why overall cardiovascular health and urological wellness are inseparable from sexual health. The body cannot fully express desire if the system that fuels it is struggling. The sensations of warmth and sensitivity that come with arousal are not just pleasurable, they are diagnostic. They reveal how well the body's vascular and nervous systems are working together. A woman who consistently feels these physical responses has strong pelvic blood flow and healthy nerve signaling, both crucial for long-term sexual wellness. On the other hand, when these responses are weak or absent, it can point to underlying concerns like poor circulation, hormonal imbalances, or stress-related blocks. In this way, arousal acts like a mirror, reflecting not only desire but also the health of the systems that sustain intimacy. It's also worth noting how lifestyle plays into this process. Habits that strengthen circulation, such as regular movement, a balanced diet, hydration, and stress management, naturally enhance sexual response. A body that is cared for will send more blood to the pelvic region with ease, creating stronger arousal and more vivid pleasure. Conversely, sedentary routines, smoking, excessive alcohol, or chronic dehydration can restrict blood flow, limiting the body's ability to respond fully. Many women who experience weak arousal or difficulty becoming wet may simply be dealing with a circulation issue that could be improved with holistic lifestyle changes. The interplay between circulation and arousal shows just how interconnected sexual health is with overall wellness. What happens in the pelvic region is not isolated, it is a reflection of the entire cardiovascular system, the nervous system, and the hormonal balance that fuels vitality. Arousal is not just about feeling desire, it is the body demonstrating its vitality in real time. When the blood flows strongly, sensations deepen, lubrication arrives naturally, and intimacy becomes a more powerful embodied experience. It is this harmony of physical health and sexual response that defines true arousal. Desire does not begin in the body, it begins in the brain. Long before lubrication, warmth, or sensitivity shows up physically, the mind has already set the stage for arousal. For women especially, mental stimulation is often the ignition switch that awakens the body's response. Arousal thrives on imagination, anticipation, and the emotional signals of safety and attraction. The mind processes subtle cues, tone of voice, confidence, eye contact, touch, and translates them into physical desire. This is why someone can feel aroused without a single touch, or why physical stimulation may fall flat if the mental connection isn't there. The mind is the ultimate amplifier of pleasure, capable of intensifying or blocking the body's ability to respond. Neurologically, the brain communicates with the body through an intricate dance of hormones and neurotransmitters. When a woman feels desire, the brain releases dopamine, which heightens pleasure, and oxytocin, which builds trust and intimacy. These chemicals work together to relax the body and allow arousal to bloom. At the same time, the parasympathetic nervous system becomes activated, sending signals that increase blood flow to the pelvic region. If the mind is engaged, curious, and turned on, the body follows with unmistakable physical signs. But if stress hormones like cortisol dominate, they shut down this process, making it harder for the body to respond even if attraction is present. This makes mental wellness just as important as physical health in sustaining sexual vitality. The power of the mind is also what makes desire so unique for each individual. What sparks arousal for one woman may leave another unaffected, because mental stimulation is shaped by personality, past experiences, and emotional needs. Some are most turned on by words and communication, others by physical presence and energy, and others by the thrill of novelty and imagination. This diversity is what makes sexual connection both complex and fascinating. A partner who understands that arousal begins in the brain learns to engage curiosity, build anticipation, and nurture the emotional safety that allows the body to respond freely. The mind is not only the first step in arousal but also the most sensitive tool for deepening intimacy. When mental engagement is strong, arousal becomes effortless and the body responds as though on autopilot. A simple glance can quicken the pulse, a whispered phrase can trigger moisture, and a shared laugh can unlock a flood of intimacy. This is because the brain does not separate emotional intimacy from sexual desire. They are intertwined. Arousal becomes richer when the mind feels desired, respected, and excited. Conversely, when the mind is burdened with distraction, insecurity, or unspoken tension, even the most skilled physical touch may not awaken the body. The mind must feel safe and stimulated before the body can fully surrender to pleasure. Understanding the primacy of the brain in arousal reveals just how holistic sexual health really is. Pleasure is not mechanical, it is psychological, emotional, and physical all at once. The body may hold the responses, but the mind holds the key to unlocking them. Arousal, therefore, is a symphony led by the brain, where imagination, chemistry, and emotional connection compose the melody that the body then plays in physical form. One of the most fascinating truths about arousal is how the body gives itself away before a single word is spoken. Subtle signals, often unnoticed in everyday life, become unmistakable when attraction is present. A woman may lean in ever so slightly, allowing her body to close the distance, or her posture may shift in a way that opens rather than blocks. These gestures happen unconsciously, reflecting the mind's excitement, translated into body language. They are not staged or rehearsed. They are instinctual reactions that reveal her level of interest. When you pay attention, you realize that arousal is not silent at all. It speaks through every movement, every breath, every glance. One of the clearest physical signs comes through the eyes. Pupil dilation is a direct biological response to arousal and attraction, triggered by the release of dopamine and adrenaline in the brain. It's subtle, but when a woman is turned on, her pupils widen, and her gaze may linger a little longer than usual. Eye contact transforms from casual to magnetic, charged with energy that communicates desire without words. Alongside this, the way she looks away and returns her gaze can reveal a playfulness that is just as powerful as a touch. These micro-expressions are often more intimate than overt gestures because they bypass logic and flow directly from the nervous system. Breathing patterns also change dramatically when arousal takes hold. A woman's breath may quicken, her chest rising more noticeably as the body prepares for heightened sensation. This accelerated breathing is not just anticipation, it is a physiological adjustment, bringing more oxygen into the bloodstream as circulation increases. Her pulse may race, her voice may soften or deepen, and sometimes even a tremor in her speech can betray her arousal. These are not signs that can be easily faked because they stem from the body's automatic responses to desire. When noticed and understood, they become undeniable evidence of her internal state. Touch is another arena where arousal shows itself subtly yet powerfully. When a woman is turned on, her skin becomes more sensitive, and she may touch her own body without realizing it, brushing her hair behind her ear, stroking her arm, or adjusting her clothing more than usual. These small touches are not random, they are an outlet for the heightened sensitivity her body is experiencing. In some cases, she may also initiate light contact with her partner, a hand brushing against an arm, a playful tap, or even standing close enough for her body heat to be felt. These touches, though small, are signals that speak volumes about her state of arousal. Even the rhythm of movement can shift under the influence of desire. Aroused women may sway their hips slightly, cross and uncross their legs more often, or adjust their seating position in subtle ways. These movements are partly about comfort, but they also reflect an unconscious effort to release tension and engage the body's growing awareness of pleasure. The body naturally seeks expression when aroused, and even the smallest shifts in posture or gesture are a part of that expression. For those who know how to observe, every subtle signal becomes a story written in movement, revealing just how deeply the mind and body are entwined in the experience of arousal. Hydration and hormones are two of the most crucial yet overlooked factors in a woman's sexual response, particularly when it comes to natural wetness. Vaginal lubrication is not a random occurrence. It relies on the body being nourished, balanced, and healthy. Water intake directly affects the body's ability to produce moisture, and when hydration is low, the body conserves fluids for more essential functions, leaving the vaginal tissues drier. This is why dehydration can lead to discomfort during intimacy and even reduce sensitivity. Proper hydration, on the other hand, ensures that the tissues remain supple, elastic, and ready to respond, creating a smoother, more pleasurable experience. What seems like a simple daily habit of drinking water can, in fact, transform sexual vitality. Hormones are the other half of this delicate equation. Estrogen, in particular, plays a central role in stimulating vaginal tissues to stay moist and healthy. During peak fertility years, when estrogen levels are optimal, women often notice that arousal comes easily and lubrication flows more naturally. But when hormone levels fluctuate, whether from stress, contraception, pregnancy, or menopause, the body may struggle to maintain the same level of natural wetness. This shift is not a reflection of desire or attraction, but rather a sign that the hormonal system is changing. Recognizing this connection allows women to understand that dryness is not a failure, but rather an indicator that their bodies are calling for balance and care. Stress adds another layer to this relationship. When stress hormones like cortisol rise, they suppress the production of sex hormones, particularly estrogen and progesterone, disrupting the natural rhythm of arousal. This is why women under chronic stress often report feeling less responsive, less lubricated, and less in touch with their desire. It isn't that the attraction disappears, it's that the body is prioritizing survival over reproduction. Stress essentially diverts resources away from pleasure, which is why relaxation, mental peace, and emotional security are so critical to maintaining healthy lubrication. When the mind feels calm and supported, the body has the freedom to respond with wetness and warmth. Nutrition also has a direct impact on this process. A diet rich in healthy fats, phytoestrogens, and essential nutrients supports hormone production and balances the body's internal systems. Foods like avocados, flax seeds, salmon, and leafy greens contribute to hormonal harmony, while excessive processed foods, alcohol, and caffeine can throw the system off balance. Hydration and nutrition together create the foundation for optimal vaginal health, ensuring the tissues stay lubricated and responsive. Just as the skin glows when nourished, the intimate tissues respond with natural moisture when given the right support. A well-fed body paired with proper hydration becomes a fertile ground for desire to flourish. Lifestyle choices extend this influence even further. Exercise improves circulation, which helps deliver hormones and nutrients to the tissues that matter most in sexual response. Sleep regulates hormone production, giving the body time to restore and prepare for intimacy. Even subtle choices, like reducing alcohol or quitting smoking, can make a dramatic difference in how the body responds to arousal. Every aspect of a woman's lifestyle plays into her ability to produce natural wetness, because the body is a connected system. Hydration, hormones, nutrition, stress, and habits all work together. When these elements are balanced, wetness becomes effortless, a natural reflection of inner health and outer desire. Sexual health is often seen as something separate from general wellness, but in reality, the two are inseparable. The body does not compartmentalize intimacy apart from its overall function. Rather, sexual response is a reflection of how healthy and balanced the entire system is. When a woman experiences consistent arousal and wetness, it is more than just desire. It is her body's way of showing that her hormones, circulation, and nervous system are functioning in harmony. This is why many health professionals consider sexual response to be a vital sign, just like blood pressure or heart rate. When intimacy feels natural and satisfying, it usually means the body is aligned physically, mentally, and emotionally, creating the perfect conditions for desire to thrive. When sexual health begins to falter, it is often an early warning sign that something deeper is happening within the body. For example, persistent vaginal dryness may point to low estrogen, which can signal hormonal changes such as perimenopause or even thyroid issues. Reduced arousal or difficulty achieving lubrication can sometimes be linked to cardiovascular problems, since poor circulation limits blood flow to the pelvic region. Even chronic fatigue or dehydration can appear first through changes in sexual response, long before they are noticeable in other areas of life. This is why paying attention to patterns of arousal and lubrication is not just about intimacy, it is also about preventive health. The connection between mental health and sexual response is equally powerful. Anxiety, depression, or unresolved emotional stress can block arousal, even when physical health is otherwise sound. When the brain is burdened by excessive cortisol or emotional strain, the signals that trigger arousal are interrupted and the body's natural responses are muted. This makes it essential to view sexual health not just through a physical lens, but also through a psychological one. A healthy, balanced mind creates fertile ground for arousal to flourish, and when mental well-being is neglected, intimacy is often the first area to suffer. In this way, sexual wellness becomes a mirror of emotional wellness. Lifestyle habits also leave a direct imprint on sexual health. Regular movement, balanced nutrition, and quality sleep all feed into the body's ability to respond sexually. Exercise keeps circulation strong, ensuring that arousal can build with ease. Proper nutrition supports hormone production, while hydration provides the fluids necessary for natural lubrication. Even the smallest lifestyle adjustments, such as limiting alcohol, reducing stress, or prioritizing rest, can create profound shifts in sexual response. The truth is, when a woman takes care of her body responds with vitality in every area, including the bedroom. Sexual health is not separate. It is woven into the fabric of general wellness. What makes sexual health such a powerful indicator is how quickly it reflects changes in the body. A decline in energy, a drop in hormones, or an increase in stress can all show up first as changes in arousal or lubrication. This makes intimacy a sensitive barometer for overall health, one that can guide both self-awareness and medical attention. When women learn to listen to these signals, they gain insight not only into their sexual desires, but also into their broader wellness. The body is always speaking, and sexual health is one of the clearest languages it uses.